A lot of African Americans are starting to call for reparations for the many years of stolen labor through slavery. Is that something that you would support as president?
No, I don't think so. I think it would be, first of all, its likelihood of getting through a Congress is nil. Second of all, I think it would be, very divisive. I think the real issue is when we look at the poverty rate among the African American community, when we look at the high unemployment rate within the African American community, the incarceration rate within the African American community, we have a lot of work to do. So I think what we should be talking about is making massive investments in rebuilding our cities, in creating millions of decent paying jobs, in making public colleges and universities tuition free, and working on childcare. Basically, targeting our federal resources to the areas that it is needed the most, and where it is needed the most are in impoverished communities, often.
Now, Bernie Sanders states that he wouldn't support reparations because, one, it's divisive. But how is reparations divisive when people are already divided, especially black people? Black people are on an economic level that is substantially lower than that of white America. Bernie Sanders also states that instead of reparations, what we need to do is have larger investments in rebuilding cities, jobs, free college, free healthcare. And that all sounds great, but these are all terms that no longer are dealing specifically with black suffering and are now dealing with the suffering of all people, right? Reparations is about black suffering here in America. When you start using this political language, such as reinvestment in cities, job employment, free college, free healthcare, these sound good, but they eliminate and dismiss our suffering.
But before I get into reparations, which is a political term, which depends on political figures, governments, and rulers to agree with our plea that something needs to be done to repair the damage done to us as a people through the horror of the transatlantic slave trade and 400 years of slavery and injustice. But if you are politically astute, you will be dependent on the President of the United States or the Congress of the United States and their goodwill. And they might want to do something, but they might say, we're not doing nothing. So I don't want us to think that we're dependent on America or politicians. See, our case, which I'm going to lay out for you today, is before the Lord of the worlds. And there is no doubt in my mind that he will repair the damage and bring us out with great substance.